Roughly 70% of your immune system is in your gut. It is an important portal of entry that must be protected from the enemies, such that our body deployed 70% of its defense system on the gut. Know that also 80 to 90% of serotonin, also known as your happiness hormone, is made in your gut. Serotonin also influences mood such that low serotonin level has been associated with depression. In this module, we are going to talk about gut health and the link between your digestive system, your mood, and chronic diseases, including cancer. Now, the gastrointestinal tract is that long tube that extends from the mouth, the esophagus connecting the mouth to the stomach, and then the small intestines, the large intestines, which is also called the colon, the rectum, and finally, the other end of the tube is called the anus. Now, here are some amazing facts about your gut. If you spread that flat, your gut would cover a tennis court. This much surface area is needed to digest and absorb the food and nutrients and fluids needed by the body. Roughly 70% of your immune system is in your gut. Isn't that amazing? It is an important portal of entry that must be protected from the enemies, such that our body deployed 70% of its defense system on the gut. Know that also 80 to 90% of serotonin, also known as your happiness hormone, is made in your gut. We thought it was always in the brain. Serotonin also influences mood such that low serotonin level has been associated with depression. Digestive problems contribute to migraine, depression, arthritis, autoimmune diseases, chronic fatigue, multiple sclerosis, and many other diseases. No wonder Hippocrates, considered the father of medicine, declared, "All disease begins in the gut." Now, a key player that influences our health is the community of bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites that live in our gut. That is called the gut microbiome. Now, there are hundreds of trillions of microbes living in your gut, weighing about 3 to 4 pounds, almost the same size as your brain. The colon alone has almost 10 trillion microbes living there. The gut microbiome also acts as a major part of the immune system. In fact, researchers from Harvard demonstrated that they help train and develop our immune cells. The gut microbiome also influences the effects of drugs. It also affects our mood. It impacts our nutritional status and overall health. The delicate balance between the good bacteria and bad bacteria can be disrupted by many conditions, including high level of stress, smoking and alcohol, antibiotics, antacids, painkillers, diet high in refined sugars and processed food, toxic chemicals, even chemotherapy and radiation. If you are a cancer patient, the things I mentioned can actually trigger a disruption of your gut microbiome. A disrupted microbiome can cause what we call a leaky gut. Normally, the cells lining the walls of your gut is so tightly knit that it makes it difficult for foreign bodies and bacteria to pass through. With the leaky gut, though, it is like the walls of your intestines are full of cracks so that harmful microbes, food allergens, toxins, gluten are allowed to pass through and enter the bloodstream and cause all sorts of diseases. Now, imbalances in the microbiome is associated with the following conditions. Number one, cancer, asthma, autoimmune diseases, diabetes, obesity, eczema, irritable bowel syndrome, even mental health issues like mood disorders, neurological disease like migraine, even psoriasis. Now, common symptoms of leaky gut include, but are not limited to, bloating, feeling of gas filling your abdomen, and other digestive issues like diarrhea, burning pain in the abdomen as if you are having some ulcer symptoms, allergic reactions, brain fog and memory issues, problem focusing, chronic fatigue, skin problems like rashes, acne, eczema, and inflammation and food sensitivities. Remember that the gut and the brain talk to each other. We have the so-called gut-brain axis. The brain sends signal to the gut that influences the delivery of the nutrient to the body. It also affects the balance between the good and bad bacteria, and it even influences secretion of gastric juices, so that, for example, when you just think of food, even before the food touches your mouth, your gastric juices start to flow already. The brain also influences the movement of your gut. And you may be familiar that when you are called to do some public speaking, you want to run to the bathroom because of diarrhea. The gut also sends signals to the brain, and you are familiar with the term butterflies in the stomach. When you are under stress, when you are anxious, when you feel moody, because the same neurotransmitters that are produced in the brain are also produced in the gut. Now, the impact of the digestive system on mental health is linked to increased incidence of mental dysfunction like depression, fatigue, confusion, and poor memory. In fact, they say that if a person has leaky gut, 70 to 90% of people with irritable bowel syndrome experience mood or anxiety disorder, including schizophrenia, major depression, panic disorder, and likely also to have migraines. Neurotransmitters are imbalanced in people with mental health issues. Microbes in your gut produce significant percent of your neurotransmitter. Now, how do we restore the balance of the gut microbiome, especially after chemotherapy or after prolonged antibiotic use or during periods of extreme stress? Well, first of all, you need to eliminate the triggers. If you are smoking or drinking alcohol, you have to stop that. Second step is to take more probiotic foods. So what are probiotics? These are live microorganisms that, when administered in adequate amounts, can replenish the beneficial bacteria to help keep you healthy. Examples of probiotic-rich foods are kimchi, for those of you who likes Korean drama, sauerkraut, these are cabbage, I think, that are made sour by lactic acid bacilli. Yogurt is also a form of probiotic food. Miso, kombucha, and pickles are good sources of probiotics. Now, if for some reason you cannot eat these probiotic foods, then there are commercially available probiotics in powder or liquid form. These contain different bacterial species, and two of the most studied probiotic bacteria strains are Bifidobacterium animalis and Lactobacillus rhamnosus. Look for these bacteria in the probiotic that you are taking. These two are similar to the bacteria in your normal gut flora found in the large intestine. It may be also a good idea to rotate your commercial probiotics so that you are exposed to other bacterial species. What about prebiotics. The probiotic are the live microorganisms. The prebiotics are the food for the microbiome. They nourish and stimulate the growth of those good bacteria while reducing the disease-causing bacteria. What are examples of prebiotic-rich foods? Vegetables and fruits, root crops, nuts, seeds, lentils, and beans, and of course, breast milk as well. Now, as you will notice, most of these are dietary fibers. The recommended amount of fibers that we should be taking is about 25 to 30 grams per day. But studies have shown that we only take half of it, like 16 grams daily. So, where do we get these dietary fibers? If you eat vegetables, the richest source would be your black beans because 1 cup of that gives you already 15 grams of fiber. Green peas, if you boil that, 1 cup of that gives you 9 grams of fiber. 1 cup of boiled broccoli is already 5 grams of fiber. What about fruits and grains? Apple, if you eat it with the skin, 1 medium-sized apple gives you already 3 grams of fiber. In fact, all these fruits like banana, strawberry, and orange gives you 3 grams each of fibers. Now, quinoa, by the way, if cooked, 1 cup of that gives you 5 grams. So, guys, we need to step up our intake of grains because these are the food needed by your probiotics or your gut microbiome. Now, there are 10 terrains of health and wellness that we check for imbalance that may contribute to dysfunctional health. Gut health and microbiome is just one of them, but one that we should really pay particular attention to. In the next series of videos, we will be discussing other terrains of health and wellness, including blood and sugar balance, immune system function, inflammation, toxic load, stress and sleep, mental and emotional well-being. So watch out for those.